After a thoroughly enjoyable 3 days or 2.5 days in Vancouver, seeing family and friends, we headed off across the Pacific Ocean, had some time in Taipei, and 34 hours later got spit out into Sulawesi Island of Indonesia.
Indonesia is made up of 17,000 islands. You might recognize Sumatra, Java, Borneo, New Guinea. We went to Sulawesi. It's the one in the middle there that has the funniest shape, which is, I'm sure, why we chose it. Oh, wait, it might be because it has one of the highest levels of biodiversity in the world. That's on land and in the water. It's within the coral triangle, which is the best for coral reefs in the world, and we really enjoyed getting to know the animals both on the land and in the water. It was also the first country we'd visited that drives on the other side of the road. Did a little research into that.
Here's a map of the country's bi-direction of road traffic, and mostly everybody drives on the right-hand side. Also, in Indonesia, they drive on the left, and apparently with animals. Can you spot the goat?
After catching up on sleep a little bit after our 34-hour travels in Makassar, we headed off to Remang. Well known for a couple things. Number one, being the second largest karst topography in the world. And number two, being a super tranquil, green, lush area with lots of rice paddies to chill out and relax and try to catch up on our sleep after our big trip. We found lots of information on rice while we were here. So in this area, they only grow rice through rainwater. So they get one yield a year, whereas in places with moving water, they get 2 or up to 3 yields a year, which we found was interesting. The karst topography was quite stunning, as it is everywhere in the world. And we learned a lot of things about karst topography and where it comes from.
If you watched our video on Guatemala, you may recall that karst is mountains of limestone that are eroded through rainwater, and they go through cracks and drip down to make caves and the cool formations inside of caves. And formations like this, just sitting out in the open, they called this a stone garden. This area in southern Sulawesi has the second largest karst landscape in the world, second only to that in southern China. Here it's an impressive 437 square kilometers of karst. There's 286 caves and 17 prehistoric caves, which we'll come to in a moment. Apparently, karst covers 13% of the world's land surface, but actually 25% of the human population rely on karst for its drinking water, its fresh water source.
We did a lovely walking tour in which Grayson was voluntold by our guide to hop on this rickety bamboo raft and get a ride across a small pond.
Grayson gets a boat ride. Video. We're at the karst garden and we're walking, but Grayson gets a boat ride.
I managed to do it though, because the consequences were falling into a murky pond next to a couple of houses with no plumbing.
Okay, this is the Labyrinth Cave at the Karst Palace. All naturally formed by dissolved limestone. And the second largest karst area in the world after South China. Okay.
With the recent rainfall, the hike around this area turned out to be a rather immersive experience.
Along the way, as we were walking among the rice fields, we met these ladies who wanted to have their picture taken with us, and especially with Julianne. And we saw some beautiful butterflies. This one was massive. And finally, we got to the lookout, where our goal was to be there for sunset so we could see the bats coming out of the cave.
These are the bats. There are a lot of There's many of these little streams. They came from the cave. They just keep coming. I'm not
Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Almost. No, this is just start. They fly going to the ocean.
To the ocean?
Yes.
Really?
So they find small insects.
That's a lot of bats. Oh wow, whoa, a lot of bats in one little cave.
Yes, it is. Wow.
Oh, look at all the kites.
Yep, waiting.
I get
They don't seem to be
some
going for them though.
Maybe they are.
Because of the karst landscape here, there are lots of caves, as I mentioned, and prehistoric caves, which means that there have been people living in this area for thousands of years. We got to go see some cave paintings. Here, I don't know why they didn't give the girls helmets, but anyway, here's some ancient cave paintings. These ones, I think, were estimated to be about 7,000 years old, and it was pretty neat to be so close to them and to compare our hands to handprints of people who really lived that long ago. Then we took a boat trip. That colorful thing in the front is a boat, and those sticks are actually an indigenous fishing structure. Here's another picture of these boats that they had going up and down the river, so beautifully painted. This was in a workshop we happened across. And we came to this village nestled in this karst landscape, very idyllic. We found these plants that are like the biggest plants there, the main ones in the front. Those are tapioca plants, apparently. And this is palm that they get the juice out of, like how we would get the sap out of maple trees to make maple syrup. And while in this little village, they let us feed their fish that they had in their ponds. So here's Julie giving the fish some food. Then we went to another site. This is the oldest cave painting in the world, or at least it was until last week, 51,000 years old. So we all got helmets this time, and we got to climb up to see the most ancient cave paintings. They're even older than in France. We are in Indonesia, climbing up to see the oldest painting in the world, 51,000 years old, recently discovered, older than the cave paintings in France. And there goes Julie up to the cave. This was a pretty neat experience, actually. It wasn't even on the tourist loop because it was so recently discovered that the government hasn't exactly set it up for tourists yet. So our guide, where we were staying at the hostel, he had to phone to get special government permission, and then there had to be a guard to show up and somebody who knew how to work the rock climbing harnesses and ropes. And then we were there, and we were all alone, and we were super close to these ancient cave paintings. Here's Grayson's pointing to the spot where the archaeologists dug out a piece to do some carbon dating on it. And we were so close, we had to like lay down so we wouldn't accidentally touch them. And we were just right there. It was a really remarkable experience. So here we are in the cave of the oldest cave paintings in the world, 51,200 years ago. This is a real person's handprint. Two people. There's over 100 paintings in this cave, and here is the man who first found them. Can you wave to the camera? Thank you. What is your name?
Okay, Amrullah.
Okay, thank you. And he found the first ones here and alerted the archaeologists, and they've come in and found over 100 in here. And only 2 years ago, we're able to be this close to them. We can actually touch them. Jeff's laying there on a picnic blanket, looking up at a 51,000-year-old painting.
of babirusa, which is like a warthog, very scary, very large looking warthog that's indigenous or endemic to this island of Sulawesi and still live up in the north.
It was a pretty neat experience to hold your hand up right next to the handprint of somebody who lived 51,000 years ago. Here's the man who discovered them, and he was very humble about the entire thing, but it was pretty neat to meet him too. And Julianne enjoying the rock climbing aspect of it especially.
After Remong, we went directly from the cave to the airport, flew to Palu, and got picked up by our lovely guide Agus, seen here in the middle, as well as our driver. We spent a lot of time in this vehicle over the next few days into Laura Lindu National Park, where we were surprised to see, even up in the highlands, there was more rice to be had.
Also, there were coffee plants, and the flowers smell like jasmine. They're so delicious. And there was also cacao. It all seemed so familiar, and yet we were on the other side of the world. Just like in South America, the people here are drying their cacao out in their yards or their driveways.
This area is well known for megaliths, as you can tell by every sign on this post pointing towards a megalith. This area was quite amazing.
So we didn't know anything about these megaliths before we went, but we knew that they were important in this area, and they're the reason that we went to this part of the islands of Sulawesi. So these megaliths are a bit of a mystery. They're ancient stone statues and pots, mostly. They're about 1,000 to 5,000 years old, and it's still a mystery who made them. The people who came here to settle, 2,000 years ago, these pots and statues were already here, and it was a mystery who made them. So the theory is that some people made them, they disappeared, or went extinct, or moved, we don't know. And so their reasons for making these things can only be guessed at. The statues, there's about 30 human forms and about 400 structures altogether in these 3 different valleys of this area. Some of the carvings, like on this bowl, have clear faces that show emotions. Others seem to demonstrate different stages of life, maybe. This is a statue who was holding her tummy, and the tummy was extended like she was pregnant. I figured she was a little mama, so I got my picture taken with her. And then there's all these pots. Some of them are big, some small, some have little holding dishes for extra water. Some are broken, and some are on their side. The theory is that when earthquakes happen, it shakes the ground and turns it all muddy and fluid, and so these statues have moved around a bit. Because they're an actual mystery, we could really only guess. This one looks like it's standing over a deceased loved one. And this one larger, one smaller, with holes in their stomachs. We're the only ones like that. I wondered if it was an umbilical cord. Anyway, we went to several sites, these megalithic sites, and we always heard about how the megalith keepers would mow the lawns, and finally we got to meet some megalith keepers. They actually had some information they shared with us. They said it's thought that perhaps these jars that have lids were actually burial chambers. Which makes sense, but a lot of the lids have fallen off so we could see inside. Some archaeological research has been done at these sites, but the local people also don't really want scientists coming into their fields and digging big holes, so for now the research has stopped out of respect for the local people. Here's a picture of Agus, our guide, and our driver, Anki.
Everywhere we went, we were asked or pushed into photographs with local people. When we asked our guide, why do they want to take pictures with us? The guide just said, it is special. And we didn't ask any more questions. So from here in this rickety hut on top of a mountain to in restaurants, it didn't matter where we were or how old the people were, we got our photos taken with a bunch of them. And that particular photo shoot ended in what else? A dance party to karaoke.
We stayed in a couple of tiny towns like this, and we really appreciated their decorations on the side of the road. This was just a couple days before Christmas, and we were invited to go to a Christmas service at their church. It was actually a Mother's Day service, so in Indonesia they have Mother's Day on December 22nd, which makes sense, you know, it's all about Mother Mary, and it was really neat to see this priest or priestess, I guess, give us the sermon. Of course, couldn't understand everything, and the children were all staring at us, and we got up and did our best to sing their hymns with them because they had words written there. And then as soon as the service was over, we were ushered outside where everybody wanted to take their picture with us. I guess they've probably never seen foreigners in this small town, so it felt like we were famous. It was pretty funny. Can you see the gas station in this photo? Look on the left-hand side. Those glass jars are oil for cars, and the gas is in the big jug, and you use the sieve to put it into your car and put some money there. Usually it's an honor system, and then you drive away.
Then it was Christmas. We woke up Christmas morning in Ampana, and we made a lovely tree on Mum's tablet, and got some presents before heading off on a boat to Sandy Bay Beach Resort for a couple of nights.
Jeff and I were pretty excited to spend our Christmas in this beautiful location, but the kids were really missing home. So we got some fireworks to celebrate something different.
Here we are on Malenge Island, the part of the Togian Islands in Sulawesi. It's Christmas night, and we are lighting fireworks.
1, 2,
Run, Mom!
Look at the sparks fall in the water. Did you catch the sparks falling in the water? Merry Christmas!
Okay, here we are again.
Get ready.
We got some volcano fireworks this time, and we don't know how they work.
So we're gonna see if we die.
But this is safe, don't worry.
So safe.
Don't try this at home.
Run! Step back, everybody. It might explode.
Wow, that was a lot more tense than I expected.
And Sandy Bay was exactly as advertised. Absolute beach bliss. We were the only ones staying in the cabins on the beach here. So we had the whole place to ourselves. We had breakfast, lunch, and dinner served by the wonderful family that lives here. The food was varied and delicious, and we always had fresh fish out of the ocean. We also went for some snorkeling experiences which were out of this world.
One day a woman came into our bay on a kayak with this monkey named Jenny. Unfortunately, her parents were killed by dogs when she was young, but then the locals tried to take her in, but they were feeding her dog milk or something. So this nice pair of women took her and are trying to reintroduce her to the wild, but right now the alpha male is being hostile, so they have to keep trying.
This must be the instinct to get bugs out of each other's fur and eat them, right? How monkeys do. He's like, where is your fur? This smooth black.
Look at him. He's like, I have fur.
I have fur.
I have fur. Why don't you have
my
fur?
own bugs.
Jenny.
We spent basically a whole day in this boat going to Reef 4 and Reef 5, which were tremendously beautiful coral reefs. We were so happy to see reefs intact, multitudes of colors, literally thousands of fish, including one school of at least 800 that I tried to count as I was kind of in amongst them. We then went off to this stilt village, and even here we were surprised to see coral that was nice and alive. Right near our beach, there was another beach next door, and this is the kind of water and the sand that we were playing with for the week. Luckily, we also had some jungle on this island, and we spent some time wandering around looking for birds and wild animals. This family was an amazing part of our stay at Sandy Beach. Highly recommended for anybody going to the Tugians.
From there, we took a boat to Wakai and then waited a few hours before taking an overnight ferry to Gorontalo. First, we took a speedboat from Malenge Island, and now here we are at the town of Wakai. And now we're taking this overnight ferry from Wakai to Gorontalo on the other side of this huge bay in the upper part of Sulawesi. And we've just been waiting over there in the harbor for the last 3.5 hours, waiting for this thing to go. And it's definitely hot and squishy on this ferry.
This is also an overnight ferry, so we actually have mats downstairs, but we're up here trying to get some air.
It was absolute mayhem and smoking hot with no air ventilation whatsoever. It was also kind of smelly in there. But despite the noise and heat, we had a good sleep, mostly.
We made a totally last-minute decision to go on this tour right off the boat, the overnight boat to Gorontalo, and got on these teeny tiny boats. There's Grayson and Jeff. You see, each boat only fits 2 passengers, and we saw something in the water. Can you guess what this is?
We are at the whale shark place, and we are right beside some whale sharks. We've got to be in the water with them too. Look at that. He's feeding them. Okay, Mom, where are we? Okay, we're at the whale shark place, and Mom is in the water with the whale shark. Mom, whale shark. Mom, whale shark. There's about 5 here, maybe. And we get to be in the water with them. There's only one here right now. Here we go, Dad. You better get back up. Okay, on to Dad's post. So the whale sharks don't eat his toes. Pretty sure they eat toes. Very sure they eat toes.
We went on a walk through the forest and saw some monkeys, lots of monkeys. We saw 2 troops with a lot of different monkeys in the troops, and here's a video of them playing on the trees.
Actually, these are black-crested macaques, and here in Tankoku National Park there are about 3 troops, each with around 80 or to 100. And there are only 5,000 left in the wild, so it was really fun. I think we actually saw all of the troops.
We did not only see monkeys, but we saw a bear couscous, which is like a small bear mammal thing, and birds. This one is a kingfisher, and spiders, extremely massive spiders, and extremely massive webs. That was fun.
In Tangkoko National Park, the trees can take many different shapes. This one comes out of the ground and then snakes along the ground like a rope. I don't see any leaves. It's just that big rope. And another type of tree is one of the 100 kinds of fig tree that have these amazing thick root systems. And you could just live inside these roots.
We also saw these amazing big trees. There were lots of trees here, but a lot of them were really big and old. Some of the trees were not big, but they were very spiky, like this one. It's sending a very clear message, this tree.
It's a magnificent tree. And there might be tarsiers in here.
This walk went until it's dark, and when it was dark, we saw this huge tarantula sitting on a tree. It was kind of terrifying. This adorable little thing is called a tarsier, and it only comes out at night. And here's a video.
This is the hotel where we started and ended our stay in Indonesia. It's called the Prima Hotel. We just happened to get lucky the first time we chose it, so we chose it on purpose on the way back because look at this. This is breakfast. Soup in here is always very good. And there's Julie. And this is my favorite part, the health tonics. That's ginger and turmeric drinks.
Mango.
They're very strong. And mango.
This is orange.
Look at that. It's amazing. It just goes on and on. And here's the guys already enjoying.
This is a video I took while we were taking off to leave here. It's a fast forward of part of the plane ride. The plane took a lot longer than this to take off, just so everyone knows. And then our time in Indonesia came to an end.